Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to the race we might look back on later as having been a path to finding the winner. Well, grand final day very much in Hong Kong on Sunday. The Longines Hong Kong International races, 4 Group 1s, a lot of world-class talent on display. And the Hong Kong Jockey Club website has everything you could possibly want to have a wager on the international races. There's videos, form, interviews, stories, all the track work from this week, which is often a key to finding the international winners, to see which horses have settled in and which horses haven't. So that's all there for you on the Hong Kong Jockey Club website. You couldn't want for anything more. I'm going to have a look at a couple of the undercard races, and the first is race 3, where our winning factor is the map. Now this is a class 3, 1200 metres. Some pretty handy horses engaged here, but I think discussions will be mostly around the chances of Lord Thunder, fitter for one run back after a long break, Maldives, who will be running on strongly at the finish, but more particularly the last start winners, Victor the Winner and Dragon's Luck, despite their wide draws. Now, every year on this day, there's always a lot of talk about how important the draw is in the Hong Kong Sprint, which is also over the Sha Tin 1200 metres. So, considering it's relevant to this race as well, I thought it was worth a detour down the statistical highway to have a look at just what that means, the wide draws at the 1200 metres. So if you take a look here, the Sha Tin 1200 metres, well, it's one of the most used starts in Hong Kong racing. Around 30% of all Sha Tin races are over this distance, and that's around 15% of all the races run in Hong Kong over a season. So it's a very significant starting point. And when people talk about the Hong Kong Sprint or any race over this distance, they do tend to focus on the horses and whether they can still win from wide draws. And you see there is some statistical edge over the last 10 years here for the inside draws, but it isn't a glaring difference. What's more important to us as punters is the figure on the right side, where you can see that, interestingly enough, gates 3, 4 and 5 as a block look to be quite overbet, landing wins at a much lower rate than the market expectations. And that's because the map is more important than the strike rates of the individual barriers. So let's have a look at how our 2 main contenders here arrived at this point. First of all, race 182, and this is the likely favourite, Victor the Winner in light blue and yellow, gate 2. Now he wasn't the fastest out of the gates, but quickly accelerates through with his great natural pace to go and share the lead, and the heat map shows that it's just an even speed that isn't too taxing on the leaders. Victor the Winner is able to maintain his role as the leader and kicks strongly in the home stretch to get clear, and then holds on well to win it at the finish. And beating a pretty good horse there too. More on him in a few moments. Well, Dragon's Luck, he's only had the 1 race start. He won that, also over the Sha Tin 1200 metres, and also from a wide gate, a problem that he faces on Sunday. So let's have a look at his performance there. This is race 161. Now he's, as I said, drawn wide here in light blue colours, and he has to do quite a bit of work early to cross over the field. But eventually he does get there, he finds the front, and Lyle Hewitson gets control of the race. Keeps them going at a good even speed, but makes sure that his horse has enough left at the finish to kick away strongly, and he wins quite comfortably in the end. And he goes up a class for that comfortable win. He's gone from class 4 to class 3. So this is a harder race, and he's still got that wide draw. So let's take a look at the map. Now the critical aspect of the map here that helps both Dragon's Luck and Victor the Winner, who's also drawn out wide, is that big hole you can see there in the middle of the draw. There looks to be no pace at all amongst those horses, and I think that's going to allow both of these speedy horses drawn wide to get across the way that they might get to the front if they drew inside. So the barrier draw here, I think, less important than the way the map shapes up. The bad news for Dragon's Luck, though, is that he still has Victor the Winner underneath him. So even if they both get across, he's still outside that horse and doesn't get as big a positive from the map shape as his rival. So the tip for me in race 3 is Victor the Winner. His winning factor, the map. Now the map does help both of these horses. At first glance at the fields, you might think those wide draws are a problem for them, but I think the map assists both. It just happens to assist Victor the Winner just a little bit more than his major rival. The other race I want to take a look at is race 9, and our winning factor here, Show Off Day. Now, Show Off Day was a term coined by trainer David Hayes, who always likes to bring out some of his future stars, or certainly future hopeful stars, on this day in the undercard races. And I think we're seeing a little bit of that in this 9th race on Sunday. Hayes is going to present his former Australian mare, Bonza Perla, at her Hong Kong debut. There is also our first look in Hong Kong at a very interesting ex-British colt called Thesis, a Britannia Stakes winner at Royal Ascot, and they're both worth watching for the future. But I think that the edge with race fitness lies elsewhere for our purposes, and some other 4-year-olds, Voyage Bubble, Golden Express and Super Sunny Sing, look the major players on Sunday. And I'm concentrating on Super Sunny Sing and Golden Express as the major contenders in this race. So this is Super Sunny Sing, race 179, and here we're looking at gate 4. He's in blue and black colours, and he begins okay, but as you can see here, he doesn't have an awful lot of early speed over the 1200 metres and drifts back through the field to be in the last 4 places, despite his rider pushing him along. And that's where he stays for much of the race until we turn for home. And he angles towards the outside. He's briefly held up for clear running, but once he does get out, he gets to the line very strongly late in the style of a horse who is looking for the extra 200 metres he's going to get this weekend. Now, if the next replay looks familiar, it should be, because this was the race we saw won by Victor the Winner in our earlier section. But this time, we're looking for a different horse. This time, we're looking for gate 1 and the famous purple colours with yellow stars of owner Larry Young. And this is Golden Express's first Hong Kong start. He begins well for Zach Purton, but is in no hurry, sitting near at a midfield on the fence in running, and travels very well there through the race up to the home turn. You see him as he comes to the home turn. He's still full of running here, and all he really needs is clear running to get a crack at these leaders. But that doesn't happen immediately. He has to negotiate some traffic before he can really get down and stretch out. And by then, Victor the Winner is gone, but Golden Express finds the line very powerfully when he does get clear. So that was a Class 3. The race we saw with Super Sunny Sing was a Class 4, a lesser grade of race. And that was supported when we take a look at the comparative times on the day for these 2 races. They were only about an hour and a half or so apart over the same course, so we get the same conditions to compare them. And the race with Golden Express, well, it was run almost a second faster overall and some 0.7 seconds faster for the race's finishing speed. But I've also included here their individual finishing speeds here, and as you can see on the right hand side, they are not that far apart. And the change that brings Super Sunny Sing into contention here is that he drops 18 pounds in the handicap off that run, whereas Golden Express in the same class has the same weight to carry. So that does certainly bring them together. On the map, I think being able to hold a more forward position also helps Golden Mission. Now, Voyage Bubble, of the 3 main contenders, is the one who is best suited on this map because he will be up with the leaders. But I think the other 2 might just have an edge on him in talent. But Golden Express, as you can see on our map here, does look to be in front of Super Sunny Sing in running. So the tip in race 9, Golden Express. His winning factor, Show Off Day. This is a race where we're going to see quite a few of these horses with their eyes on the 4-year-old series early next year. But I think with the edge in race fitness and his ability to be in front, I think, of his major rival, Golden Express, I think can win this and establish himself as a bit of a rising star. Well, that's it from the Winning Factor for this week. Enjoy the big day Sunday. We'll see you next time.